All right, y'all. So this is total fraud. It had some weird looking thumbnail, so we're gonna see what we're looking at for real. I've been watching these guys since like 2017, maybe? No, 2018.
This story involves Cambridge.
So I kind of grew up with these guys. They kind of like, they've influenced my political thinking a little bit and how I think about shit on a day to day. I don't agree with everything that, that they talk about or that what they claim or anything like that, but I do like their points and they're really intelligent. This nigga preached though, it's crazy.
Youngest professor, a man named Jason Arday. All right. If you guys need a little introduction, who overcame being a non-verbal autistic child until 11, and then he was illiterate until 18. Okay. But he managed to get his GCSEs, which is basically some academic stuff you got to do in high school.
So going off the title,
he honed his focus as a gifted young snooker player, and his discipline as a footballer, good enough to compete at a serious semi-pro level, who carried the Olympic torch for London in 2012 after running 30 marathons in 35 days for charity, who went on a run hundreds of miles across the country and raised...
So maybe he really did this shit. Holy shit, damn.
5.5 million pounds for charity. Okay, if you don't know, 5.5 million pounds,
that's
British
heavy.
Pounds, that's heavy, but it's also...
Stupid ass nigga, bro. Stupid ass nigga.
I'll go in timeout.
So stupid. He survived a devastating car crash in his teens that left him comatose and on life support, yet he awoke against all odds, learned to walk and talk again. He then beat cancer and refused to even let brain surgery derail him from relearning an entire doctoral thesis in time. He managed to pass it. He met cruelty with grace by asking a judge to spare the young people who had attacked him, and later welcomed two of them as his own students, with one of them having Jason be the godparent to his child.
That's too much.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Never played Final Fantasy before. Well, online, I mean. Okay, Crisis Core is my favorite one.
Against all odds, he rose to become the youngest black professor in the history of University of Cambridge and a tireless advocate for students who saw themselves as lesser than because they were different. That is who Jason Arday is. And he's also a pathological liar and a plagiarist. Came out this week that the youngest professor from University of Cambridge is a total and complete fucking fraud. Oh. And the lies are insane.
Couldn't speak and I couldn't converse in a way that everyone else could because it allowed me to see things in a different way.
Therapists predicted he would need full-time assistance throughout his life. How wrong they were.
Why are you smiling in that cut?
It was this man, college tutor Sandro Sandri, who helped teach Jason.
He got good hair though. I will say, like his hair is long. Like that shit is like kept nice. Like if I had long hair like that, bro, I'd be tough, nigga.
To read and write at 18.
I wouldn't be holding that nigga like that.
His most prestigious university.
I wouldn't.
Milli Vanilli? 100%.
Someone in the chat said the same thing.
Yeah. There's so many meme pictures. I was going to post them afterwards, but 100%. He does look like that.
Professor Jason Arday was Cambridge's youngest ever black professor when he joined in 2023. But he's been caught up in a row after allegations of plagiarism, which is essentially when someone steals someone else's work.
How did this motherfucker get caught though? Like, all those claims he had? Why wasn't he caught the first time? Like, the first thing that they say, like...
And questions over some of his stated achievements, such as his marathon claims. He insisted he isn't a liar and that he's faced an unrelenting level of public scrutiny and personal attack. He said some errors in his early academic work...
Didn't they have a picture of him holding the...
were because of his autism, and he also told the Times there had been a coordinated campaign to unseat him, which he argued was racially motivated. The allegations came from another academic, Nathan Coffness, who was sacked from his Cambridge role in 2024 after a backlash to his views on black people. Last night, Cambridge University said it had launched a probe into Professor Arday.
Okay, so you're going to see some of the coverage. All right, and this goes really far. We're talking about institutional failures. We're talking about police involvement. We're talking about...
I was reported to the police over the Arday case. I was just doing my job.
You know, some people have their narratives with DI,
Dion didn't earn it.
a lot of different things. But I think at the core of it, you know, the question remains, is this man a total fraud? I think there's without a doubt incidents of plagiarism. I think there's without a doubt incidents when it comes to stealing other people's research and then attributing it to himself. I think there's without a doubt a plethora of lies that he told. And the way you know that this happened comes down to a book he wrote. Well, the problem is that there's a
Bro, he wrote a whole book. I'll be right back. Okay. Gucci? Yes, sir.
book that he wrote that was going to be released by a publisher.
Great and unfortunate things. Big eyes.
They had a draft and the final version of the memoir, autobiography. The issue is that people got access to the draft, and the draft looks very, very different than the final version that he ended up releasing. Supposedly, there's a story that when he was a teenager, he got in a car crash, okay? And when he was in a car crash, he was comatose, right? But he said he was suffering from locked-in syndrome. Do you know what that is?
It's when I think it's when you're trapped in your body, basically. Like you're aware, but you're
correct.
You're you can't. You're locked in.
100 points to you, preach. Take your 5 million pounds, fat ass.
Is that fat phobic Osworth?
I don't know, bro. I don't know what that was.
Music is funny, bro, but I never heard that locked-in syndrome. Holy shit, that shit sounds scary. It's like almost sleep paralysis, but you're moving?
Just one thing. He's apparently locked into his body. The doctors are talking about ending his life because he's suffering from this car accident, but he's aware the whole time. Mind you, this man
so you're not sleep type shit.
And is in his teens going through this aware, comatose car accident. This is in the draft. He manages to recover from this and relearn how to walk and speak.
A second time.
Yes. Now, this is in the draft. It was completely omitted from the final version. This is an autobiography. One of the most traumatic events in his life. Should have plenty of documentation. People started asking questions, they cut it. There's no records of this. There's no media posts. He never even referenced this. So the whole time he's talking about his childhood and what he had to do and what he had to learn, he never references this car crash where he supposedly was going to get killed by the doctors. So big red flag already, okay? He claims in the book that he had testicular cancer. By the final draft,
no balls.
Brain cancer. So
I mean, a ball is
so
a
the
ball.
testicular cancer was gone.
I mean, technically, if you think
Bro should have just wrote a book about a character like
about it, they say that men take with their balls. That's one thing. So then, number two, left ball, right ball. You know what I mean? There's a right hemisphere, left hemisphere. So, semantics.
semantics. This nigga preaches. This nigga never this funny, bro. What the fuck?
So this cancer that was in his balls got to his brain, but the balls thing no longer happened. So they changed it for the final one.
I mean,
and this affected his memory, so he forgot his dissertation. Zero mention of this anywhere else other than this memoir. Okay, no record of this anywhere. I want y'all to see this. So this is one of the oddest claims he made. This is before the book. Okay, this is back in the day.
I was part of a program actually, which it doesn't really exist anymore, but it was called 7 Up at the time. And 7 Up is basically when they follow you over the duration of your life. So they follow you at kind of 7, 14, 21. And I was pulled out of the project when I was 14.
Bit of a problem with that.
The program was called Sprite. I'll be in the corner.
This whole episode, bro.
Preach with the clever puns. You know, I'm over here like reading out this story like, ba-doom-ts. So the problem, here it is, please, from over there, you can stay there. He was never part of the show. I looked up if there's any episodes, Whatever it is, nowhere. Again, I don't know why he felt the need to lie about that, but he did. He claimed he was part of the show. So apparently he did 400 miles in 4 days, 600 miles in 6, and then 12 in 12 days. So he was saying that he did, 30 marathons in 35 days with a partially broken leg.
No.
Bro, was just sad.
No.
Like,
Bitch, I can't even run to the store.
See,
Fuck you mean?
what made me like at least go like, oh, maybe it was the picture. It was the one that he was holding the, you know what I'm saying, the Olympic shit. Like
600 miles in 6 days.
You'd have to walk 31 hours minimum to walk 100 miles.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And this was like a prospect in which he would basically run for charities. When people looked into it, they found no records of any of these donations that he supposedly made. And then they questioned, like, how did you do 30 marathons in 35 days? Like, you would be like a top tier, top level athlete. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy.
'Cause 30
or dead.
yeah.
He claimed that people looked into it, none of the donations ever happened.
Because if you see a marathon runner's feet after a race, oh my god, them niggas are dying, bro. Like their legs, their body has deteriorated. Like marathons, they do damage, bro. Like, and you do 30 of them? Now, if you said 30 miles in 30 days, you ran a mile a day. Okay, cool, fine. You did it for charity, cool. That makes sense.
Any of the charities that he was claiming. And when he was pressed about it, he said
You gotta learn how to lie, bro.
there were 100 plus other that were involved, and NDAs barred him from naming.
No termites here.
Just peace of mind.
Sorry, chat. What game is this? It's like isometric, but at the weirdest angle. 48 million? The cabin.
The charities that he supposedly.
I like the pixel
Then he
art,
said he
though.
was a semi-professional footballer. Now, semi-professional and an academy player means something. So people looked into it, and the dude played in Tier 8. A few matches, Tier 8.
I think my brother played academy, and then he moved to Turkey to play, and then COVID happened, and then he had to come back home because he was gonna move to Germany to play soccer. And he was gonna be on his shit. Had he gone, had COVID not fucked that shit up, or they was getting tight on borders and shit during COVID. So had he gone, boy, he probably would have been pro right now. To be honest, because he's cold, like Neymar cold.
But then we move on to the next claim, and this is the big one, which is that he was nonverbal till 11, and then he learned to read and write at 18. The issue was that he passed a couple GCSEs when he was 16, which are academic tests that you have to do as part of like passing through high school. So they're like, if you couldn't read and write until you were 18, how did you pass these at 16? There hasn't been a proper explanation for how any of this happened. And then another issue came out with people that supposedly went with him to school when he was a young brethren, said that this dude was speaking the whole time.
This is funny. This is funny, bro. Man was a mute the whole time I knew him. So what are you telling me? I had no conversations with him. None. I just read through the thing. I saw him, I laughed. When I saw the dreads and all of that, I laughed. Because that was a joke to me. I remember him with the little baby dread, yeah? But when I saw it, and then I saw the little write-up, a man tried to say he was, whether it's non-verbal, mute, whatever you look want to.
Hey, bruv. Whatever you lot want to call it, bruv. Whether he's non-verbal or mute.
Call it. The brother was chatting. The brother was chatting, yeah?
The brother was chatting.
All the time, and I didn't just go school with him. I
didn't go school with him.
Sunday school with him as well.
I went Sunday school with him.
Oh, and you know if you go Sunday school, you get...
You know if you go Sunday school,
go to
you get to go to the clubs.
The Tuesday or the Thursday. In the week after school, you would go club, play a little ping pong, kickball, the tuck shop was there, all of that. Them man were there, yeah?
Them man were there.
Listen, them man were there, and we would jump in the same van to travel down to Sunday school, yeah? Them man would be in the van with my brethren Nibs, talking about my baby organ. And then Jason be on the back end, you make it organ. Look.
So he was saying they were all singing and talking and yapping it up. And then a couple other people from the school that he went to said that this dude was talking his whole life, okay?
Jason.
That motherfucker was reminiscing, though. He said, you make it all good. That nigga was reminiscing.
me tell you, Jason, I know your name because your partner Debbie here has told us all about you. Okay.
So he's on a...
Not to read at 16, not 18, as he has long claim already corrected neither claim, and program rewarded him with trips linked to New York, Manhattan.
TV program with his partner, and she's about to speak for him. That's him.
Debbie, what did you tell us?
Basically, that Jason's just an amazing guy. He has epilepsy. He learned how to speak when he was 11, and he couldn't read or write until he was 16. He found school.
Bro was really like... Bro was sitting there like... You don't say that. He was really sitting there like he was special, like... He said...
Quite challenging and quite tough, but he always was so grateful.
And what type of girl are you to fuck on that?
To the people that helped him along the way. So he decided to give back, and he has dedicated the past 10 years to fundraising for people who are in need. And so this has been alongside sort of going to college, going to uni, getting a master's.
Why are you faking this, like...
Becoming a uni lecturer.
He or she now claims that he couldn't, he learned to read and write at 16, not 18, but every time he does interviews, he says 18. So there's been a lot of conflicting reports about the whole age. People seem very confused. Some people say he could speak the whole time. Some people say it's this age, that age. And look, it's a very inspiring story to imagine you cannot speak, you cannot read. You can still assimilate information, but you're nonverbal, and then all of a sudden you speak. You're a crazy, overperforming academic who goes on to get a PhD, youngest black professor. Like, it is a fairy tale story. The problem is when everyone looks into the details of the fairy tale, everything starts falling apart. There's no proof of any of the details. And in the memoirs, very odd that he left out a lot of stories, or they dumbed down many of the claims that were originally there. I feel bad. This is what I feel bad for. This is from a year ago. Jason Arday, a child that couldn't speak until he was 11. I found Jason Arday's story. They say he was nonverbal autism. He spoke his first word at 11. He started writing at 18, and he's now a university professor. Does anyone have more information about this story? I desperately hope it's true. I'm used to the fact that many stories about children who started speaking later only have truths. Damn, that was a year ago before all this unfolded. I feel for her. Damn. My son is 5-year-old. He's never spoken a single word. I'd love to know if Jason... And this is like the harm from some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like the people who are living with this, who are looking at this dude as like a beacon of hope, and then he gets exposed for how fraudulent he is. He hurts them. Mm-hmm. He hurts their prospects. He hurts the perception of people who...
Because now she's sitting there thinking like, damn, my son's going to be, he's going to be lacking behind for a little while, if he doesn't ever get a chance to speak. So that's actually kind of sad. That's super sad, really. They didn't even think about that aspect of it.
From this condition. He hurts the hiring practices that people have in regards to these people. Because now folks are going to question, why was he there? Was it the color of his skin? Was it this or that? And unfortunately, in this situation, this does seem like one of those ones where it's like, hey, politically this is expedient. Black Lives Matter, let's do it. And you don't have to like the truth. You don't have to like the reality of what this guy did, how it might impact other folks. But you can't lie about the situation, thinking it's going to do good. I feel for this person who wrote this. This person was really looking for hope.
Oh, for a hope and an answer.
And I
see if there was a
actually, this is the saddest
like
part.
It is.
Oh, that's actually fucking, that got to me.
Because that person is genuine right there. Yeah. That person is really like thinking about her son, like, oh, maybe there's...
Yeah. He had one where he said he almost attempted to take his life by a bridge, but then he heard an Eagles song and decided to get off and then live.
Wow.
When playing games on PC, do you ever wonder if someone had a clip with you in it? Download Metal, then go to Albums, Clips You're In, and...
All you're doing is just adding all these fantastical things that were in the memoir that he ended up cutting out. Supposedly, some people who hated him left a pig's head at his place, a bullet, a banana, a corrosive poison, and the men were masked. Metropolitan Police told The Guardian the details he gave were categorically incorrect and no such investigation existed. He took no photos, told no one at the time, and had in fact filed a harassment complaint against a critic that police declined to pursue. So when he made this whole claim of like these pig heads and all this stuff, there was never a single photo produced. No CC. And like, if you aren't aware, where they live at, CCTVs everywhere.
Everywhere.
They got cameras set up. It's like part of their system. It doesn't mean it catches everything, but none of the incidents that he's claiming were ever caught on camera, not by himself or anyone else, which is odd. Because if somebody left a fucking pig's head and I needed to document that shit, there would be.
This guy's a habitual liar, and it's terrible. This is like some Jesse Smollett shit, but like, I guess not as big, I guess.
The evidence, right?
Call that place Little China. Right, making a false report like that to the police is a crime in itself.
Yeah, but they're not charging for that.
No, they're not. They ain't got it.
Please not charging for that shit. Now, none of these are necessarily smoking guns per se. Some of them are very fucking odd. Some of them are. But let's get to the plagiarism. So people have been raising issues about this guy's an academic. This guy came into Cambridge, during, I think it's like the mid-2010s. And so some people said, some of it may have to do with BLM, all these other claims. Some people felt like it might have been a bit of a political hire, that they rushed it. We'll put that aside for now. He goes to Cambridge. People start raising issue about his academic record. Why? Because he used lines from another person who had written a dissertation before him, but he didn't cite it. Now, in academic area, that's bad.
Yeah.
Just is. People be like, all right, well, he didn't cite things properly. Like, it's bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay. The real issue is that he stole other people's research. So he ran a study on a group of individuals. I believe it was about how people are responsive to therapy and issues they have with it. And then he started using quotes for one of his subjects that belonged to a study from somebody else. And then he put it into his study. And so when people found that out, then they're like, you're just attributing quotes that don't exist for this person from other studies. Like, this doesn't work. And when people scrutinize it,
what is his goal with this? Because even understanding the job of a professor, plagiarism is the biggest thing in universities. Like, you literally get kicked out of universities for plagiarism as a student. So, what was his whole idea and goal as a professor to write a dissertation and then steal other people's, what was his goal? Was he trying to get fame? He must love that camera. He gotta love the camera. He just wants fame.
had to do a revision of the study and actually make an amendment. See the correction part?
Arday Jason, 2018, Understanding Mental Health. What are the issues for Black and ethnic minority students at universities?
The publication has been amended to increase the clarity of citation sources within the text. Previously, the statements that the research had been adapted from Memon appeared in section 4, but inadvertently omitted overlap between the two publications in prior sections. The author has revised the text to address this, so it's clear that where the ideas were adapted from past research. Consequently, the number of times Memon has been referenced has increased. Now they write off after the issues that people have with it. They make the correction. Cambridge gets told that this dude has been stealing other people's lines, stealing other people's quotes, not citing things properly, raising these issues, and then also raising other forms of plagiarism that this guy's engaged in. Rather than engage with it years ago, they cited it all off as a hate campaign, which was racist. Now
they're backing their asses.
I will say some of the individuals who had maybe launched this campaign are involved in some relatively questionable research or have some political axe to grind, but it doesn't change the fact that this man definitely did these things and has been lying about a good portion of his life. And rather than actually do a thorough investigation, they cleared him of any wrongdoing. And this is why I say institutional failure, because if you're one of the most prestigious, universities, you're taking exorbitant amounts of money from your students and you're having this dude teach, you got to vet things. And rather than do so, they protected their own asses politically and kept saying that the investigation in this man was.
Let's see, salary for a Cambridge professor. Damn, bro is making from 75,000 pounds to 130,000 pounds. That's crazy. He might be touching six figures over there in England.
Unnecessary. In fact, when one of the critics wanted to publish a piece on his many wrongdoings, they hired one of the most high-powered lawyers to go after them. And then they had police call these folks to for criminal investigations. So they engaged in a cover-up in many different ways. Fast forward to last week. Cambridge has reversed that. He's resigned. Now they're launching a new investigation into their teacher, admitting that there may have been mistakes and there are things worth investigating. It took years. And under the guise of racism and other things, they decided to hide away from a lot of the criticisms. Now that he's been proven a liar on many of the claims that he's had about his own life, the people who are supposed to publish his memoir are set to still go through with it, despite some of the lies appearing in the memoir. This is what I mean when I say it's institutional failures, is that people, for their own political reasons or to protect their own reputations, had decided to, protect someone. Even the guys who were, because when you send it to the publisher, the initial draft, and they do all these revisions, they cut out main stories that are very fucking weird. They take your claim that you raised $5 million and now it's 1.4, and they've dumbed it down and they cut all these other parts.
Once you stop at racetrack, no other stop will do.
Same time tomorrow?
Always.
Never
My
eat
name
there.
is Lacey Harris, and I'm the chair of the Independent Artist Program and the Artist Producer Entrepreneur Program here at Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California. The Independent Artist
I'm just trying to
Program
skip the ad, bro.
And then at the same time, they're also releasing these giant quotes about how much you have integrity. It makes you question these giant publishers who are still set to release the book of a total fraud. And so someone said, oh, well, you know, he was cleared by Cambridge.
No, that's sketchy. That's sketchy because he was cleared by the same organization that have something to lose if they're found that they have tempered or omitted certain things in their best interest. So,
Yes.
of course, I'm not going to trust none of that.
No, and they've already reopened the investigation because they realized that a lot of the things they said were wrong. And look, you can look through this guy's history. Like, there's a lot of things that he's been lying about. Oh, it's my autism. That's what he blames it on.
Bro is such a chud for that. Like, he gives like everybody that's dealing with some shit like a bad look. Like, for example, black people in the DEI shit. Like, it just gives people more ammunition. Like,
Every time he gets caught, it's like, come on, man. You know, the fact that he plagiarized, that he didn't cite things, it's not a minor thing. I know for us laymen, we don't, but if you live in that world, what he did, no.
What do you mean, us laymen, we don't understand that? Some motherfuckers can't stand having the same dress as another girl at the same party. No, we're talking about work. Remember when you was in school and you raised your hand to answer something and you said the answer and your teacher didn't hear it and the person next to you rose their hand and said the same thing and they got the credit and how you feel pissed? Same thing, but more.
The more publicity that he gets, because I suspect he's probably not going to be doing the rounds, although he'll probably be on Oprah next week telling his story. But he's not going to be doing probably the regular rounds, you know, speaking to you guys.
He's talking about the press run he's supposed to do for his book. So all that's going to be canceled. And so they're basically happy about some of this because all publicity is good publicity is what she's trying to say.
Among the claims that he has made that are not in the book.
you would think that if the main thing about your memoir is reliability and truth, that would be what people would want to, you know, read about a memoir or autobiography. But if bro's just lying, bro, just go get a fiction, like go get a quick storybook. Like, I mean, that's what he should have did in the first place.
Doesn't repeat.
But I mean, that's where the caveat comes in, because then would people even want to read a book about that? No, but they want to read a real life story of somebody dealing with that shit and overcoming it. So yeah.
Any suggestion that he had a professional football career or a professional snooker career, that's gone. He doesn't talk about having run 600 miles in 6 days, which would be an elite feat of ultra marathoning. He doesn't mention, so this is something that I wasn't aware of, but The Atlantic has run a story comparing the book with The Proposal. And apparently in the book, he describes being, in The Proposal rather, he describes being hit by a car and being in a coma, which somehow that extraordinary experience did not make it into the finished book. In the book itself, he also doesn't claim to have raised over £3 million for charity in the book either. So that claim has sort of been quietly shuffled off. He does claim in the book that he went to Brazil to install water pumps, something that the charity Water Aid has now said they would never ask any volunteer to do. He claims that he was unable to understand speech, that he could hear sounds, but he couldn't interpret meaning from them, and only began to be able to do that when he was at the end of primary school age. Children who are that profoundly disabled are vanishingly unlikely to go on to become, you know, articulate adults.
That's also a good point that she's making. Like, I could understand if you're nonverbal, but you can understand everything. He's claiming he couldn't understand speech. So then what I was saying earlier about assimilating information is like not even possible for this man. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, he couldn't speak till 11, 12. But apparently he was assimilating information the whole time. I was like, oh, how? Well, how did that happen? But yeah, I think some people are going to want to fight this because they're attached to, you know, not giving an inch on any kind of concept, and you know, the people who are critics of DEI or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you got to call a spade a spade.
I mean, you got to.
This dude's a fraud. He's a fraud, and you shouldn't protect
The truth
a
matters. The truth matters at the end of the day. Like, that's the main thing about this life. The truth. Like, the falsehoods are always going to fall through the cracks. But the truth It's the only thing that matters.
Or go to lengths to protect someone with such a shady past when
We
they're
are liars at the end of the
also
day.
going to just essentially be seen as a total fraud and then do long-term damage. I think Cambridge did this for political reasons. I think they protected him from political reasons, and they didn't do their due diligence, and that's a failure. And they prioritized politics over academia.
I also think too, not just political, but their reputation as a university. So I think even just having this whole big ass debacle, like Cambridge is now being probably drugged through the mud too as well, because it's you paying hundreds of thousands of pounds to go to that university. So there's no way, there's no way someone's gonna pay that much money for a university professor to be a person like that.
And I think when you do that, that's going to leave a stain on your reputation. And I think right now, folks are just scrambling to protect it. That's what they did. That's why they got the police involved. That's why they did the lawyer thing. And only now that they have no choice, now that it's all out there, now they're doing another investigation. But they cleared them before. And I got to ask, what the fuck was that investigation if you guys are now reopening it? You know, the title of the youngest Cambridge professor is a great story. It just happens to be that the person who's there is a fraud.
Facts.
He taught birds how to fly. He did that. He gave Tupac his first record deal. Yeah. He has a 6 feet vertical. Ooh, that's pretty impressive.
That's not bad at all.
He
That's
taught
crazy.
the man how to fish. That's a good one.
Imagine if he taught the fish how to fish.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He introduced ABBA to preach.
He introduced Priest to dreads.
Yes.
Remember what she was like before.
Yeah.
People might ask why, because like a lot of these lies were so bizarre, like the whole like semi-professional, the you know, even the saying lines like 600 miles in 6 days. Like these are all like very weird metrics that he's using. And I will walk 600 miles.
And I will walk 600 more just to be a miner who walks 600 miles to be right at your door.
Nah, you niggas is dumb as hell. He died for our sins.
Read the comments. They're crazy. They're going at it.
But I think for some people, once they start lying, they just don't know how to stop. It's convenient, it's efficient. And you have to think the kind of lie he told was one that he knew was good, which is like, oh, I'm autistic, I'm this, I'm that, I have this syndrome, and I'm, you know, black and kind of queer and kind of different. And here's my story. And people bought into it because of the story. We do reward people in life for being fantastical. It's just, it is what it is. So there's incentive to lie. There's incentive to make up these stories. There's incentive to be the victim of all these different situations. You overcame victim. People love that. So like, I can understand why he did it. People lie about being shot at. How many people do you know people who lied about events in their childhood or if
What have I lied about that's like, oh, I want it to seem like I'm tough, like I'm actually like I've been through some shit or some shit. I don't think I ever said I've been shot at. I don't think I've ever said I've been in like a fight I've never been in. Maybe it might have been like in football. Like if he'd go back to the apartment like in college, he'd say, oh, did you win that rep? Maybe I lied about that before. But I know I've lied about something, bro. Oh, I remember, bro. This is like my friend at the time. This is over the summer, so I stayed at my university for summer school. You know, it was just cheaper that way. You know, to stay out there. I also wanted to live alone, but we would have these weekly chats like on FaceTime. And there's one time I had caught like a stomach bug. It was so bad, and I was throwing up. And then like I looked in the mirror when I got done throwing up. My eye, like the blood vessel had popped, so like the right side of my eye was like all red. It looked like a fucking anime character, you know. She was tough. So then I was like, damn, bro, I don't want to say like I was sick as shit, and now my eye is fucked up. So I was like, damn, bro, I've seen that you can pop blood vessels whenever you're powerlifting or like deadlifting, for example. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just say that I was deadlifting, and then I would just say I just held my breath too long. I was pushing too hard, and I popped the blood vessel. That's a good example. I've done it before. I say not to his extent though, but. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to say that, you know, your gut was fucking up and now you're shitting and throwing up and dying and shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody want to say that. Like, come on, G. Like, give me a chance, G.
fights that they never got into because they want to look tougher, they want to look more I get it, but
they have to cover their asses because someone fucked up. Someone that should have fired. Someone that
shit. My stomach was fucking up. I had to cover my ass literally because that shit was literally dropping shit. Like, oh, let me stop.
Should have got fired. And I believe is the dude he was kissing in the beginning of the video. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? You doing great."
Even that didn't it look so odd?
Yeah,
it did, right? I'm not tripping, right?
You okay?
If you want to understand how things work, especially these days, this game is for you.
Took every.
It was this man.
He took every tag too. Like he took the autistic one, the I almost died one, the coma bit, the I'm smart as shit one. Like he took all the good attributes, and then, well, at least the one that's like protected for, you know what I'm saying. He's black, you know what I'm saying. He's, you know what I'm saying. He's special. His brain don't work right, so. And then he's gay too. He's like, you can't say shit about this nigga.
College tutor Sandro Sandri, who helped teach Jason to read and write at 18.
I'm just so happy for him.
Shit, maybe he not gay, my bad.
You know, I'm speechless, to be honest. But I never doubt a moment they would achieve.
So he just sitting there chatting too, like to BBC?
Where he is.
Sandro would spend hours of his free time teaching Jason.
There's one thing you said to me which I never forgot, and it was when I was 22, and I said to you I was thinking about doing a PhD, and you said to me, like, you know, it would be the greatest story in the world if the kid who didn't know how to read and write was managed to get a PhD, and you said, like, I think
look.
We can take on the world, or you can take on the world and you can win.
He's seeing the cap. He's like, he's looking at him, and then he hears what he says about him 22, can't read right, whatever. And then he just like, he looks out into space like, oh shit, I gotta continue this lie.
Apparently this is like the most impactful thing that he ever said to him. And just look, maybe I'm over, but I just feel like there's no way that happened. He was talking about the most impactful thing that he's overcome. Not a single emotion. I don't care what nobody says. To me, that looks so fake.
Part of his research will look at new ways to make higher education more accessible for everyone.
What can we do to ensure that this isn't a market appointment in 5 years' time? How can this become the norm?
We've listened to the voices.
Man, I be feeling bad for like white people like this because they be trying to be so supportive of like black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for the nigga to go and fuck it up.
Of our black scholars and our black students.
Yeah, we really went back in time with this one. This is definitely that 2016, like, okay, black squares with it. All right. Now, I'm white, I'm wrong, you're right. Okay. What next?
Oh my God. This is that time, bro. This is the cancel culture is popping, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so glad I was just a teenager, bro, and I didn't give a shit.
Should I turn around before you put it inside me? Like, this is definitely that, like, SJW era.
Oh my God, that social justice warrior shit. I used to watch this dude on YouTube. His name was No Bullshit. He was, like, more right wing, and he'd just be clowning on these SJWs. And, like, man, I'm moderate, bro. I'm in the, you know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking with either side because both of them shits run by the same dude. You know, not the same dude, but just know that it's about to be real in here. Stupid.
This is an old ass interview. This is that white liberal stereotype from back then. I haven't seen this in a minute.
The structural issues that people face.
There will be those that think this is a tokenistic appointment. What are your thoughts on this?
You know what I hate? Again, I hate the camera placement between one. They replays the camera and said, ask the question and go ahead. And 3, 2, 1. It's, oh my God. Doesn't matter if he lied. He's low-key no.
Bro, y'all should have seen the people that were aggressively defending him on when I was looking for videos on TikTok.
Well, they might have a 2-camera setup or a 3-camera setup. We don't know whether.
It's crazy. God.